The deer stood frozen in the headlights, a ghost in the blizzard. Donald wrenched the steering wheel to the left. The rear tires broke free on the ice, and the bus slid sideways toward the ravine. The bus crashed through the guardrail and plunged into the ravine, metal shrieking as children screamed.
Help! Is anybody out there, please?
Mr. Hartley, are we all gonna die?
Nobody's dying tonight. I need you all to stay calm and hold on. I'll check everyone now.
The headlights sputtered and died, leaving only the red glow of emergency strips. Outside, the snow fell heavier. Then came the howl. Long, high, and hungry. It was answered by a second, closer still.
Coyotes. That's the last thing we need.
Pairs of amber eyes blinked in the tree line, slowly circling the wreckage. The pack had found them. Donald fumbled for his cell phone. The screen's glow casting sharp shadows across his weathered face. No service. He grabbed the two-way radio, thumbing the transmit button. Nothing but dead static hissed back at him.
No signal. Storm must have knocked out the towers. We're on our own for now.
The temperature gauge on the dash ticked lower, -5. Frost spiderwebbed across the windshield. Behind him, the children huddled together, their breath clouding in the bitter air. Shivers ran through the group.
All right, kids, there are emergency blankets under the seats. Wrap up tight. We gotta stay warm.
Thank you, Mr. Hartley. You are Rachel's grandpa, right? She was in my class before she got sick.
Yeah, she was my granddaughter. She used to talk about school all the time.
She liked bobcats. She said one day she'd free one. That's what she told us.
She did free one. And now there's nothing left but a cold bus and a pack of hungry coyotes.
A sudden scraping noise came from the front door, claws low and insistent, dragging across metal. He aimed the flashlight through the shattered window and caught 4 sets of eyes, gaunt coyotes circling the steps.
Nobody make a sound. Stay down and cover up. We don't want to draw their attention.
I am scared, Mr. Hartley. Please don't let them get us.
Donald reached under the driver's seat and pulled out a heavy tire iron. The weight was familiar in his grip.
What's that for? You are not going out there, are you? They'll tear you apart.
Not if I can help it. This is just a precaution. If they try to force the door, I'll be ready.
As he shifted his weight, a gold chain slipped from inside his jacket. The locket dangled over the iron. The catch popped open. Inside, a tiny photo of Rachel. Bald, smiling, her pink cap askew.
Not tonight, sweetheart. I got kids to protect. You'd understand that better than anyone.
The snow muffled a different sound, soft paws padding through the drift. Fresh bobcat tracks led right up to the bus steps. A tawny shape launched onto the lowest step, landing in a puff of snow. The coyotes froze. The bobcat planted herself square in front of the folding door, ears flat, and let out a low hiss.
What in the world?
The pack leader took a step back, then another. The coyotes exchanged glances and retreated a few yards. As the bobcat turned her head, Donald caught a glimpse of something around her neck. A strip of faded cloth, snow-dusted and worn.
A collar? That can't be right. Wild cats don't wear collars.
The bobcat sat motionless, her amber eyes fixed on the tree line, as if she'd done this 100 times before. Inside the bus, the children pressed their faces to the cold windows, silent and wide-eyed.
I don't know why you are here, but I ain't gonna argue with a miracle.
The coyotes, emboldened by numbers, lunged forward, 3 of them, fangs bared, charging the door together. The bobcat met the first with a swipe across its snout, drawing blood and a yelp of pain.
Get 'em. Don't let 'em through.
The second coyote darted low and sank its teeth into her side. She shrieked but didn't give ground. Inside the bus, Emma and Kevin pressed against the window, eyes wide with horror.
She can't take much more. She's bleeding bad.
With a furious burst, The bobcat twisted and raked her claws across the attacker's face. The coyote yelped and fled. The remaining pair hesitated, then retreated, leaving the bobcat panting at the door.
That's it, girl. You are doing good. Just hold on.
She limped back to the center of the step, a gash bleeding into the snow, but her eyes never left the tree line. The children slowly peeled away from the windows, their expressions shifting from horror to confused relief.
All right, kids. It's okay for now. She's gonna keep them coyotes away.
He settled back into his driver's seat, and in the heavy silence, Emma's small voice pierced the dark.
I remember Rachel talking about a bobcat. She said her class helped fix one up and let it go.
That's right. Her school had a wildlife program. Rachel loved it. She helped nurse a little bobcat back to health.
He paused, the memory flooding back. A collar with red and green stripes wrapped around a tiny wild neck.
I saw the ribbon. It had stripes, just like the one Rachel showed us in class. Could it be her bobcat?
Slow down, Emma. That was a long time ago. Lots of bobcats have collars. It's probably just a coincidence.
But what if it is hers? And what if she don't make it through the night 'cause she's hurt?
Donald peered through the glass again. The ribbon was there, but the pattern remained hidden by shadow and caked snow. Donald's mind drifted back 3 winters to a classroom filled with colored ribbon and glue.
This one's special. It's for the bobcat we're going to release. I want him to always know someone cared.
Days later, she knelt in the forest, snipping the wire snare from a terrified kitten's leg. She slipped the collar around its neck, the striped ribbon bright against dull fur. A classmate snapped a photo as the bobcat bolted into the trees, the ribbon fluttering. In the hospital, too weak to sit up, Rachel held that photo and showed Donald.
See, Grandpa. He's free now. Because of me. He's gonna grow up big and strong.
The memory faded, and the cold of the bus returned. Donald rubbed his eyes with a trembling hand.
It can't be the same one. It's been too long. The odds are impossible.
But his hand drifted to the locket around his neck, and he couldn't quite let the hope die. But before the silence could settle, a new sound rose from the back of the bus, scraping at the emergency door. The bobcat's ears swiveled. She launched off the step and raced around the side, into the dark.
They're going around. She can't fight them all alone again.
Through the rear window, Donald saw the bobcat collide with 2 coyotes at once. A flurry of claws and fangs.
Enough. I ain't letting her fight alone.
He slammed the horn in 3 long blasts and flicked the hazard lights, flooding the snow with amber flashes. The coyotes, startled, broke off their attack and vanished into the trees. The bobcat limped back to the front, her breathing ragged, and for the first time, Donald saw the unmistakable swell of her belly.
She's pregnant. That's why she won't run. She's protecting her own, too.
He pressed his hand against the cold glass, a new understanding settling into his bones. As the bobcat shifted her weight, Emma pressed her face to the window and pointed.
Look, she's going to have babies. That's why she won't leave.
Little miracle. That's what Rachel called the one she freed.
The bobcat bent and began to groom her wound, her rough tongue melting the snow caked around her neck. As the ice dissolved, the ribbon's pattern emerged, faded red and green stripes, unmistakable even in the faint light. The bobcat lifted her head, amber eyes locking onto his through the frosty glass.
It can't be. But what if it is, after all this time?
Mr. Hartley, you are shaking. Is something wrong?
Nothing, sweetheart. Just a ghost, that's all.
He lowered the flashlight, but his heart had already latched onto a truth his head refused to accept, that maybe, just maybe, Rachel had sent her. Donald raised the flashlight again, this time steady, aiming the beam directly at her neck. The red and green stripes glowed in the light, identical to the one Rachel had stitched with her own hands. His breath caught. The flashlight slipped from his grasp and clattered to the floor.
Mr. Hartley? What is it? What did you see?
Donald fumbled for the locket, snapped it open, and held Rachel's photo against the glass. He looked from the picture to the bobcat, then back again. The same stripes, the same fading.
It's her. It's Rachel's Bobcat. That's my granddaughter's miracle sitting right there.
Rachel's Bobcat. She really did send her for us.
Outside, the bobcat tilted her head at the sound of the name, as if she remembered it too.
She ain't just a bobcat. She's family, and I ain't letting her down. Not tonight, not ever.
Donald knelt by the door, one hand flat against the glass, his breath fogging the pain.
Hey there, Rachel's girl. You remember me? I sure remember you.
The bobcat's ears flicked, and from deep in her chest came a faint, raspy meow.
She heard you. She knows her name.
I promise you, we're gonna get through this. You ain't fighting alone anymore.
But what can we do? We can't even open the door without those things getting in.
Not yet. But there's gotta be something on this bus we can use, just got to think.
He rummaged through the glove box and under the seats, gathering what little he could. A half-eaten sandwich, a roll of duct tape, a pocket knife.
It ain't much. But I'll be darned if I don't try something.
Outside, the bobcat shifted, wincing, and a fresh trickle of blood stained the snow. The clock was running out. 4 dark shapes emerged from the tree line and fanned out in a coordinated arc. They had learned. 2 went for the door, while 1 flanked around. The bobcat lunged and whirled, but a set of jaws clamped her hind leg. She stumbled hard.
She's down. They're gonna kill her if we don't do something now.
Donald laid on the horn in a frantic rhythm, 3 short blasts, 3 long, and flicked the hazard lights to strobing chaos. The pack broke and fled, vanishing into the swirling white. The bus fell silent, except for the bobcat's ragged panting. She dragged herself back to the door and collapsed, her sides heaving. And then, a low, guttural moan escaped her. Her belly rippled, a wave of muscle tightening and releasing. Contractions.
What's wrong with her? Is she gonna die?
No, son. She's bringing life into this nightmare, but she's running out of time.
Donald checked his watch. 4:57 a.m., 73 minutes until sunrise. The final attack would come before first light. A yowl tore from the bobcat, not a warning, but a cry of pain. Her body seized with another contraction.
I can't just sit here. I got to do something. Kids, stay back, no matter what.
He crouched by the folding door and eased the handle. The door cracked open just 3 inches. He slid out the sandwich on a napkin and set down a cup with the last of his water. The bobcat's nose twitched. She lapped the water in desperate gulps, then tore into the bread.
She's drinking it. That's got to help, right?
It'll give her a little strength, enough to keep fighting. Now, let me get this door shut.
He pulled his hand back and pressed the door shut with a quiet click. The bobcat lifted her head, amber eyes meeting his through the glass, and she no longer looked empty.
Hang on, Rachel's girl, just a little longer.
The shadows moved again. 5 coyotes this time, silent and purposeful, closing the ring with a hunter's patience.
That's it. I ain't letting her face them alone. Not again.
He shoved the door open and stepped onto the icy stair, the tire iron cold in his grip. The bobcat looked up, startled.
Get back. Go on. Get out of here. You ain't touching her or these kids.
The bobcat forced herself upright, staggered, then pressed against Donald's leg and hissed, a united wall of teeth and fury. The lead coyote froze. For a long moment, man and beast stared at the pack. Then the first streak of dawn broke the sky. The pack whimpered, turned, and fled into the thinning shadows. They would not return.
We did it, Rachel's girl. We held the line.
The bobcat collapsed onto her side, panting. Her flank rippled with another contraction. The birth was now.
Hold on, sweetheart, just a little longer. Help's gonna come. I promise.
The bobcat dragged herself a few feet from the step to a hollow in the snow beneath the front bumper. With one last shuddering push, the first kitten slid into the world. A wet, mewling bundle of spotted fur.
You did it, Rachel's girl. Oh, sweet heaven, you did it.
A baby? She had a baby. Look, a little one.
10 minutes later, a second followed, then a third, 3 tiny lives born into the safety their mother had bought with blood. The bobcat turned and began cleaning each kitten, her rough tongue gentle despite her wounds.
They're so small. Will they be okay with their mama hurt?
She's stronger than any of us, Kevin. She held the line all night. They'll make it.
The children's faces, pressed to the frosty windows, broke into exhausted smiles, the first since the crash. Donald stayed at the window, guard over both his charges now, the children inside, and the new family outside. In the distance, sirens wailed, a sound sweeter than any hymn. The rescue convoy snaked down the snowy road toward the ravine. Sheriff Tom Caldwell was the first out. He stopped short, staring at the blood-soaked bobcat nursing her newborns.
Good Lord. Dawn, what in the world happened here? And is that a bobcat?
Without waiting for an answer, he ordered the crew to cut the jammed doors. Hydraulic shears whined, one by one. The children stumbled into the morning light, wrapped in blankets, their faces hollow with exhaustion.
Tom, you gotta get her to a vet. She's Rachel's bobcat. She saved us all night and just had her kittens.
I believe you, Don. We'll take care of her, I promise.
The rescuers moved with care, easing the bobcat and her kittens into a warm transport crate. As Donald finally allowed himself to be led away, the sheriff's eyes caught the bus's dash cam, still recording. He would watch that footage later with the whole town, but the truth was already written in the blood and the ribbons. Back at the station, Sheriff Tom ejected the dashcam drive and plugged it into his laptop. The screen flickered to life, showing the bus sliding, the bobcat landing on the step. Attack after attack played out. The slashing claws, the blood, the coyotes recoiling.
She had her kittens right there in the snow, while those coyotes were still out there.
He called the parents into the room. They gathered around a tablet as the footage played again. Mothers wept. Fathers stood stone still, hands covering their mouths. Outside, the children, still wrapped in blankets, kept glancing toward the crate holding the bobcat.
This wasn't just an animal. That bobcat is a hero, and so is Donald Hartley.
A local reporter was already there, scribbling notes as the sheriff wiped his eyes. The story would hit the news by noon. Before nightfall, the town would be asking what they could do. The vet stitched her up and moved her to the barn behind Rachel's old school. Donald came every morning with food. Within a week, she let him kneel beside her. The kittens tumbled over his boots as she purred.
You are just like she said. A little miracle. 3 of them now.
The town held a special meeting. No one argued. Every hand went up.
By order of the council, County Road 12 is hereby renamed Rachel's Road.
A green sign with a bobcat silhouette went up at the bend where she'd first appeared. Now, every time Donald drove the morning route, he passed that sign. The bobcat and her kittens waited at the tree line, watching the yellow bus roll by. Field trips stopped there so kids could see the story with their own eyes. And at night in the barn, the faded ribbon Rachel made still hung around her neck, unbroken. Months bled into years, and the sight became as regular as the turning of the leaves. The bobcat and her 3 grown kittens waiting at the bend. When the yellow bus groaned to a halt, the young cats would race it, leaping through the tall grass. Inside, the children pressed their faces to the glass, waving and calling out to them. Donald watched from the driver's seat, his fingers resting on the miniature striped ribbon pinned to his jacket.
Still keeping your promise, Rachel's girl. And so am I.
One morning, a young mother stopped him at the crossing. She held her little girl's hand tightly. She said, "Thank you for not giving up. You and that bobcat saved my daughter's life." Donald nodded, his throat tight, and glanced toward the tree line where the bobcat lay watching.
Every morning now is a gift, and Rachel sent me a guide to lead me through.
The bobcat's amber eyes followed the bus until it disappeared around the bend. On his final day, Donald parked the bus in the depot and walked the 2 miles to Rachel's road alone. He carried only a small bowl of food and a locket that never left his neck. He set the bowl at the base of the sign where the bobcat silhouette was etched, then lowered himself onto a fallen log. From the high grass, the bobcat emerged. Her grown kittens flanked her, but she walked forward alone. She pressed her head into his hand, leaned against his knee, and purred. A sound he'd first heard through a bus window in a blizzard. He sat there as the sun fell, the barn light flickering on in the distance.
I kept my promise, sweetheart. She's got her little miracles, and I got mine.
He opened the locket, held Rachel's picture beside the now graying bobcat, and let the tears come. He stayed until the stars came out, then rose, leaving the bowl behind. The bobcat watched him go, then led her family back toward the barn, the ribbon just a ghost of color in the moonlight. The cemetery rested under a pale sky. Donald found his way to Rachel's stone, a stuffed bobcat tucked under his arm. He knelt and set the toy against the marble, its stitched smile catching the sun.
She saved us, sweetheart. Just like you always said she would. Every last one of us.
He opened the locket, setting Rachel's face beside the toy, as if to introduce them. A young woman arrived with wildflowers. Emma, no longer a child. She placed them without a word. She squeezed Donald's shoulder, eyes brimming, then stepped back. Nothing needed saying. The camera tilted up to the sky. A single cloud, shaped by wind and memory, bore the unmistakable silhouette of a bobcat. It drifted slowly, a guardian on the breeze, as if watching over the road named for a girl who loved bobcats. Donald straightened, the weight on his chest finally lighter than it had been in years. He turned from the grave and walked toward the road that bore her name, the bobcat cloud still hanging in the sky. The sign at the bend caught the last light, the bobcat silhouette cast in gold. She and her grown kittens settled beside it, a living part of the landmark now. A school bus appeared, slowing as it always did, the children's faces bright in the windows. They pointed and waved, and the bobcat lifted her head in acknowledgement. On his porch, Donald watched, a quiet smile settling on his weathered face. She left her post and padded up his porch steps, as she had done 100 times before. She circled once and lay at his feet, her purr vibrating through the old wooden planks. He reached down and scratched behind her ear, the way Rachel used to do. The sun dipped below the tree line, and the sky turned to ribbons of orange and pink. And in the quiet that followed, the only sound was the steady, knowing purr of a mother who had kept her promise.